Speaking of your co-host, he wanted to tell me a message for you, and I told him he was
Really?
coming on the show. Yeah, he
Okay.
says he didn't see no two prettier co-hosts right there. Welcome back to the brand new episode of E on the Mic, episode 5. I am your host, E, aka Ethan. Now I got someone on today. He's the host of Friday Night Wars with Joe Morley, and he hosts Mike on the Mic. He is in Los Angeles. It is Shawn. How you doing, Shawn?
How's it going, man? Mike on the mic and E on the mic together, finally.
Finally, collaboration. It's just on the mic is always like a little catch right there.
Yeah, right.
Man, how are you, man?
I'm doing all right.
Man, we got a lot of talk about stuff today with your Chargers.
Oh boy.
We should have been a winning record season, but I don't know what is happening with the Chargers. Realistically, they should have been a winning record, honestly, if I'm being real.
I'll surely rant for you. Don't worry. It'll happen.
But, let's start out where it all started beginning. Cmon Sports. That's how I remember you guys. Cmon Sports with Renee and Shawn. Man. Yeah. How was that podcast like?
That was great, man. That really is what launched me into all of this, as far as content creating and doing podcasts and all of that was Cmon Man Sports. Me and my cousin and neighbor, he actually lives across the street. He's probably across the street right now hanging out, making some music or something because he's a music producer. We both are sports fans, and when I was overseas, we agreed that we were going to start a podcast. And the name of our fantasy league that me and him co-commissioned was called the Cmon Man Fantasy League. So we decided to be the Cmon Man Sports Podcast, and that's kind of how it came about. Renee decided to focus on music. He's doing another little sports show once a week, like very small show that he's building up right now. It's called Beats and Sports, if you guys want to check it out. But for the most part, he wanted to focus on music. I wanted to keep doing the sports thing because I can't sing, I can't rap, I can't make beats for to save myself. So
we're in the same boat. I love music. I can't sing.
Yeah,
I can't do beats. I can't do it. I can make covers. I can make cover arts. That's about it.
Yeah. So right then and there is when I launched the Mike on the Mic Sports Podcast, and that was kind of the name that I came up with when I was still in the military. My nickname in the military was Mike. My last name's Michaels. People just started calling me Mike. So I had thought of that idea before I even thought about the idea with Cmon Man Sports. So I kind of just go ahead and became my own show because Cmon Man Sports would not have been Cmon Man Sports without Renee RC on it. So I decided to go ahead and start Mike on the Mic. And then things evolved. I started another show called the High Voltage Talk Show. If there is any Chargers fans listening, I'll actually put a clip from this if I can on that Instagram page. I have my own page for that. The High Voltage Talk Show, which is all Chargers talk. I just go on for about 30 minutes a week, review the last game and preview the next game, then go on some rants and just basically get to talk trash about my own team. But and then that led into being picked up by the Ryan Sports Network. They're an affiliated network that I work with right now. And that's what led to me and Joe Morley getting paired together for Friday Night Wars, a show that'll be airing on the radio across multiple stations on the East Coast starting in December.
Yeah,
so
man.
Friday Night Wars that you're seeing on YouTube is actually the pilot episodes for the radio show.
Big ups right there, man. When I saw that huge promotion right there that you guys were going to be on a radio in December, I was like, that's big ups right there. Yeah. I know how much you guys been working on that mic, Shawn and Joe right there. I was like, damn, that's one of the boys right there.
Yeah, it's very lucky.
That's crazy. And then Complicated Kai with the edits there. I know he edited for your intro, if I'm not mistaken, recently.
Yeah, he edited the video for the intro. It was pretty awesome, and it's like a WWE style intro. And our show is kind of like a battle or war battle games sports debate show, so it works out.
Yeah, man. Now, speaking of your co-host, he wanted to tell me a message for you, and I told him
really
he was coming on the show. Yeah, okay. He says he didn't see no two prettier co-hosts right there on the show. He says one of them had to be ugliest and one has to be a pretty one, but he said Mike is.
Yeah, I'm the pretty one. all the listeners, I'm sure you have some Dolphins fans, some Florida sports fans that are followers of your show. I just want to let you guys know, Joe Morley Sports, if you're ever voting in the Friday Night Wars to decide who won, because we have votes to decide who won from the listeners. Joe Morley Sports hates Tua. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah. And another thing you want to say is that the Raiders beat your Chargers.
We already know that. We already know that.
He wanted to say that. He wanted to rub it in.
Yeah, he loves rubbing it in. It's a weekly occurrence for him to rub it in when the Chargers blow it like they did against the Raiders.
Chargers versus Dolphins. It's an exciting game. This is gonna be an exciting game. The two rookies, Herbert, who is really outstanding the whole entire league, really is who should be offensive rookie of the year. No questions about it right there. Versus Tua Tagovailoa, which beat an Arizona Cardinals team, which that was the most shocking that everyone, especially you, voted for Arizona. I remember I saw you went for Arizona there.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a great matchup. I want to hear your perspective. Why are the Chargers 2-6?
It's a lot of things, but I'll give the biggest reason, and the thing I've been looking at it all season long and breaking it down on the High Voltage Talk Show of what's going wrong each week. And there's always one common thing. It seems that when the Chargers get ahead, they decide to just start playing relaxed, lackadaisical football. The players start to not try as hard. You'll see them miss a few more tackles than normally would. The coaching becomes more conservative. We're not airing it out with Herbert no more. We're not attacking them with the draws and play action plays. And it's just overall the team as a whole, in my mind, has a loser culture is what I'm calling it, a losing culture. And it's something that you see with teams. You see with teams like the Jets. You see with teams, I mean, no offense, the Dolphins before Brian Flores. Yeah. You see with teams like, the Bills before they started to turn things around with McDermott and Josh Allen and all them. Just teams that cannot get out of the gutter because of the culture that is within the organization. So I think there just needs to be a change from the top down. They need to go get a big name coach that we know is a winner. I like Jim Harbaugh. A lot of people are saying that Bill Belichick might be ready to lead the Patriots, but any of these big name coaches that we know are winners, kind of what the Raiders did with John Gruden, it kind of flipped things on its head. I know there was a couple rough years there, but that was just him getting his guys. And now we're seeing him with probably still a lot more work to do, already succeeding. And we're going to see it in the next couple of seasons. We need that winning culture. That's the difference between holding that lead and losing that lead. That's what I think.
Like what I noticed about the Chargers was their offense is really key. Like Herbert is not the problem. He's been fantastic. He's lighting up the league. Kind of like how Mahomes did in his rookie year or his second year, really, but his first year starting. Yeah. But Herbert is not the problem. I think it's just the Chargers defense where they choke the lead or when they're trying to catch up, playing catch up. It's like they're like this close to winning the game. It happened last year too. It's not like this year. This is nothing new. This happened last year with Phillip Rivers with the Chargers too. They were like inches close, but they couldn't, especially against the Titans last year. I remember the Titans beat the Chargers. It was like right at the goal line. You guys lost right there. So it's not a occurrence right there. It's like daily occurrence. And Anthony Lynn's job, I think he's going to be fired by the end of this year if he doesn't step up and play against Miami, like a win, honestly, for the Chargers. For Anthony,
I think his ticket should be already booked, no matter what happens the rest of the year, unless we somehow win out, which is very unlikely. We play the Chiefs again, play the Raiders again. We play, I think, the Bills. Unlikely we're going to win out. Unless we win out, I do not think Anthony Lynn keeps his job. If we lose one more game, maybe they won't fire him right there in week 10 or whatever it is. But come the offseason, he should be gone, and the whole staff should be gone. Maybe keep the assistant coaches, but just bring in a new head coach and let him bring in an entire new coaching staff and just trust the head coach fully. I love Tom Telesco. He's a great general manager, but I've noticed that he does let his personal feelings kind of get involved in some of these deals. We kept Antonio Gates on for 5 years past. We should have paying him and let him
putting him on life support, honestly.
And I love Antonio Gates. I love what he did for us, and I understand the loyalty to Antonio Gates. The same thing with Phillip Rivers, Malcolm Floyd, all these guys. But at a certain point, you got to put the team success over. You know what I mean? And that's what it is with Anthony Lynn. It's time to put the team success over. I know you love him. He's a great person. If you watch Hard Knocks, you know that Anthony Lynn is a great person. Just sometimes you don't have what it takes to be a head coach in the NFL, and he's a coordinator coach. That's what you should be. Just stick to it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, especially the games that you came really close to, like just the teams that I mentioned that are winning teams. The Chiefs, for example, that should have been a win. If they didn't choke that game, that should have been a win. The Panthers, they almost won that game with a lateral. It was just a lateral away before a miracle touchdown that would have sent the Chargers running around their house. Then the Bucks, they had the lead on the Bucks 35-7 or 20-7 one point in time.
Yep.
And then they choked it to Tom Brady. Tom Brady got fired in the second half, and then you know how the results. That Monday night against the Saints, Drew Brees, Herbert was going back and forth with Drew Brees in that Monday night football game, which that, again, should have been a win there. The Broncos, I don't know what happened with the Broncos. That was the Chargers win. If it wasn't for that last-minute touchdown, the Chargers would have won that.
Yep.
That should have never happened. I know your feelings were all over the place that game. And then Joe Morley's Raiders comes into town and beats you guys with an incomplete pass
on the last play. Incomplete pass that had to be reviewed. So we thought it was a touchdown. I thought it was a touchdown the whole way. And then I saw the replay and my heart fell out my chest. Yeah, it's the thing. It's going to keep happening too. When you have such a talented roster. And think about it. We're playing without Chris Harris Jr. That Raiders game was majority without Joey Bosa. We're playing without all these guys, and we're still balling. No Austin Eckler. That's a huge one. Austin Eckler last season was the offense. This season, he wouldn't have to carry as much load this season as he did last season just because of the emergence of Herbert, but he's still a huge factor. And the fact that we can't get a round game going, and Kellen Balazs did very good in the Raiders game, but for the storyline of the season is we can't get Herbert in the passing game, but he's still overcoming it. But yeah, you see all the injuries, you realize the roster is there. So what's wrong then? And you start to look up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you start looking up the coaches and the GMs there. Like, they have the pieces. They just got to put it together. Like, Austin Eckler, before he got injured, he was doing pretty well before getting injured. Now, Balazs, all of a sudden, which was a former Miami, which we let him get out of him because he wasn't doing productive. I was surprised he got a touchdown that game. I was like, Balazs at the Chargers. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think he had like 60 yards or 70 yards rushing on only like 8 attempts. It was pretty good.
I know Balazs, he's a speedy guy, but he wasn't very productive when he was with Miami. He was very deplete. And I was like, we had to let go Baby because Gaskin was doing much better than Balazs, which that was a shocker to me.
Yeah, and you guys picked up Jordan Howard. So at a certain point, the room was just getting too crowded for Balazs. I think the thing was that he just had fresh legs. He came in and he was fresh. He hasn't played all year.
Yeah, he hasn't played all year. He went from Miami to the Jets. He played for a few games with the Jets, and then he got let go in the Chargers. It's fresh legs right there. Yeah. Especially when people thought Joshua Kelly could be the guy replacing Eckler for the injury. But Kelly's been kind of a disappointment a little bit,
Yeah, he's got a lot of learning to do. His problem is ball security, and he sometimes will jump out of the hole when it's there. So they got to figure that out with him.
That's what I've noticed with Kelly.
Yeah.
But let's get over to predictions with the Chargers and Dolphins. So I'll actually go with the game plan here. So Chargers versus Dolphins. Dolphins came impressively win against Arizona, and the Chargers are coming from a losing game. Now, who do I have this game? I know the favorites right now is Dolphins, because that's rare that you ever see the Dolphins favor in any game. That's how you know we're just jinxing my team real quick. If I had to go down, this is gonna be a throw off with Herbert and Tua. I think it's gonna be kind of how Arizona and the Dolphins play. So it's gonna be, I got Miami, but by 4 this time, 4 points this time. It's gonna be 35-31. I'll give it that. Miami.
My soul. That's gonna hurt my soul again.
It's gonna come down to that play with the Chargers. I just don't trust the Chargers. Like, every time they have a lead or doesn't have a lead, they try to play catch up, and then near the end they don't get the reward.
Just barely don't get there. Yeah, I mean, this game, when you look at their records and you look at the stats, you say, okay, Miami should just unleash themselves, and Tua should just go off on the Chargers right now. But the problem is on the other side of the ball, the Chargers offense is really good. I think the real storyline in this game isn't necessarily what it's going to be. It's going to be Tua versus Herbert. Everyone's going to freak out, and we're going to build this hype up. I've already seen pictures of them in their college uniforms, like facing off against each other. But it's going to be Justin Herbert versus that Dolphins defense. You know that the Dolphins offense is going to be able to score on the Chargers. The Chargers defense is banged up. They're struggling. They just traded Desmond King. We don't really have that great of a secondary without Chris Harris Jr. out there. We don't know if Joey Bosa is playing. So I don't think the Dolphins are going to have too many problems. Maybe Tua makes a rookie mistake and we get one turnover. But for the most part, I think saying that it's going to be 30 points both teams is pretty fair. I think the storyline is, can Herbert get in this shootout against that Dolphins defense? Because y'all's defense has been amazing this year.
Man, our defense, compared from last season to this year's defense, when we start picking up, we were getting into the quarterback. We got Goff, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, as he pressured Goff, he makes turnovers, which he did. Which that's what I noticed with Herbert. Herbert is more of a passer throw. I know he runs the ball more, but he likes being in the pocket more. So we're probably going to use more like we used against the Rams. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a nice matchup, because I know Herbert is going to make those nice throws in that, especially with Mike Williams, Allen. He has a lot of weapons. If Hunter Henry has Balaj, he has a lot of weapons he can throw to. So
it's a fun game because when you look at the weapons that the Chargers have, despite being 2-6, and you see that, okay, Keenan Allen is a mismatch against anyone in one-on-one coverage, in my opinion. And Mike Williams in a jump ball situation is a mismatch versus anyone that's not 6'4" and has the wingspan of LeBron James. You know what I mean? So it's just like, even though the Dolphins defense is great, the Chargers offense is still just super underrated when you actually sit and look at who's on it. I think it'll be a good game. I'm going to call a Chargers victory, but I'm not going to be surprised if we blow it in the end. I'm going to call a Chargers victory 31-28. And the opposite thing is going to happen this game. They're going to give the ball to Tua, and he is not going to be able to get it done on the last drive versus the Chargers not being able to get it done on the last drive.
I see what you did there. You're just trying to get it some type of way, so I feel your pain there.
Yeah, try and flip the script here a little bit. It's a lot better game than the record suggests. And if the number is huge, I wouldn't be against having the Chargers cover in this game. It could definitely be a field goal or less.
The way if it turns out the way as we predicted,
Yeah,
because honestly, the Chargers, as I mentioned earlier, could have been a good 6-win team right there already. The way that the team, and especially the teams they just played against, I just mentioned earlier, that would have been like recognition right there. You would hear the Chargers all over the place right now if you think about it.
The Chargers would have a similar story to what the Bills are being talked about right now if the Chargers could have won those games. Yeah,
Bills. Now they made Russell Wilson now MVP candidate no more.
Yeah, people are getting on me about that. I'm just bringing it up that Patrick Mahomes is now in front in the MVP race.
Yeah, thank the Bills for that one right there.
But I think Russell Wilson still is going to keep lighting it up, so it'll be close.
All right, so I got Miami, you got Chargers. So nice fantasy picks. So this is where I pick one, my guest picks one to help you guys out with fantasy. Who I have here. So quarterback, Tampa Brady versus the Panthers. Now, why did I say Brady? I understand he did gruesome against the Saints. I don't know what happened to Brady throwing 3 interceptions, was not his night. The Saints dominated them. But against the Panthers defense on the corners are very weak. So I really expect Tom Brady to really go off of that game, especially has weapons like Brown now, Evans, Godwin, Gronkowski, which is going to be tough to throw at everybody and keep everybody happy. But Tom Brady must start.
He's the center of it all. All right, for quarterback, I didn't prepare for this, so I'm just kind of thinking of it in my head, thinking about the matchup. But for quarterback, I think a good one is Deshaun Watson versus the Cleveland Browns. You saw what Dak did to the Browns a couple weeks ago when he was still healthy. Just absolutely shredded them. And I think Deshaun Watson has better legs, a better ability to get away from Myles Garrett and get the ball downfield. You're going to see a lot of big plays from Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks and Deshaun Watson against the Browns defense, which has been struggling all year a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Watson's been pretty impressive, especially with the connection with Fuller, since they don't have Hopkins anymore. I knew Fuller was going to be right up there. So Watson's a good start right there against Cleveland's defense. Actually, the running back, I got Henderson versus Seattle. I know Henderson didn't play well against Miami, which I think everyone was surprised about. But Henderson against Seattle's defense looked shredded against the Bills, which we just mentioned just now. The Bills ran over them. They passed over them. Henderson might have a good day. He can have a great game today. So if you got Henderson, must start right there.
For running back, I'm going to go Dalvin Cook against anyone on any week of the NFL season. This man is going off, and I just posted before I went on the show a graphic highlighting just how good Dalvin Cook is this year. I paired his first half of the season next to Adrian Peterson's 2,000-yard season when he was with the Vikings, and you will be shocked how similar they're matching up right now.
Man, I saw that. I was like,
fantasy-wise, Dalvin Cook has the same amount of touchdowns that Adrian Peterson had in that season right now, halfway into the year.
Wow. Like, he's cooking up the league, I tell you. The Packers, man, especially the Bears have a tough defense where they try to contain the run, but Cook is going to run over them.
He's going to run over everyone. He's going to run over everyone all year. I watched the last 2 Cook games, and even when there's no hole there, he still finds a way to get 7, 8, 9, 10, broke a few when he has nothing. So I don't know what you can do to stop him. He's a beast.
He's beast mode right now in
Yeah.
NFL right now. I
Yeah.
saw that in FSU when I saw the rivalry FSU Miami. I saw that with Cook. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not surprised how Cook's been doing in the league like that. That's how he did in college.
For
Wide
sure.
receiver, this one's gonna make Shawn happy right here. Mike Williams versus Miami. The reason why I say Mike Williams instead of Keenan Allen is because I know last game against Hopkins only they threw to only got 3 catches, 30 yards. Because Howard was really somehow locking down Hopkins. I was really surprised because last time Howard played against Hopkins was going off all over him. But they're gonna lock down Keenan Allen. He's gonna get catches, and there's no question about it. But I think they're gonna target more Mike Williams. Herbert's gonna target more to Mike Williams. He's gonna have an impressive day. And then he's been Mike Williams fantasy. It's been going up, so I think Mike Williams could be a good start against Miami, especially with Howard at the corner.
Well, I'm gonna go opposite of you. I know the matchup is tough with Keenan Allen versus Howard, but Keenan Allen, even when Richard Sherman and all these guys were coming through, Keenan Allen has sauced everyone in the NFL. He's the best route runner in the NFL, in my opinion. Davante Adams is very close now at this point, but I still give it to Keenan Allen, give him the slight edge, just because Keenan Allen's only knock, and the only thing that's probably receiver rankings and never getting into that top 5 is he doesn't have that burner speed. So he has to be an amazing route runner. Davante Adams still has the speed. So to see Keenan Allen succeed the way Davante Adams does and get 10 catches a game like that, it makes me say, wow, it's a little bit more impressive for Keenan Allen just because he doesn't have the speed that Davante Adams has. He has to do it purely on his route running. And even though he's going against Howard in a tough Miami defense, like you said, they're going to be pressuring Herbert. And the best thing and the thing that the Chargers do, no matter what, when Herbert is under pressure, they get the ball to Keenan Allen. They audible. I actually saw a very smart play against the Raiders. Keenan Allen was in the slot. Mike Williams was on the outside. I'm very sure it was 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8 that they had some kind of post corner combination called up, just assuming based off of playing football, it's 3rd down and 7. You usually want something that's going to cause the DBs to cross right there when you have your 2 best receivers on the same side. Otherwise, you put them on opposite sides. Keenan Allen called an audible from his slot receiver position. The entire O-line looked up. Justin Herbert looked up. They audible to a screen because they were playing off, which means they would have had the post in the corner covered, or whatever they had called, a dig and an out, whatever it was, would have been covered. Keenan Allen called an audible, a receiver at the slot, called the audible for the offense, threw the screen pass, and we got the first down. That's when I realized that there's nothing you can do to stop Keenan Allen. No matter how good you are, you can only try and slow him down. And in this situation where Herbert's going to be under a lot of pressure, he's going to be going to Keenan Allen. So just if you're in PPR especially, just expect 10 or 11 catches, 12 catches from Keenan Allen. Even if they are, 7, 8 yard catches, just expect 11, 12 of them. They add up. If he gets a touchdown, he has a 35, 40 point week.
Yeah. Oh, I want to agree with you no more right there. Allen, Mike Williams right there.
There you go.
Chargers do it. Then I go to tight ends. I like Hawkinson versus Washington football team. Hawkinson's been really on fire, especially with the dual Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford really likes Hawkinson. And Hawkinson, I would really start him right there. I think Hawkinson's been very impressive. He's been underrated. So, like, when you're struggling with other tight ends, I would really trust in Hawkinson. Hawkinson will get you a nice touchdown right there, or get you some points right there with a solid.
For tight end, and I'm just going off the top of my head, like I said, I'm going to go with Gronk just because the history that I know with Tom Brady. When Tom Brady suffers a loss or has a struggling game when he was in New England, the following week, they typically went back to the basics and just gave it to their star players. I could see him going back to the basics, and when they get into the red zone, locking it down, saying, Gronk, just go ahead and run that corner route. I'm going to throw it up to you. Go get it. I can see it happening. And I've been calling for Gronk to have 2 touchdowns in a game all season. Maybe this is the one.
Maybe it's the one. You never know. It is. You called it right there. Christian Kirk. It's been an impressive wide receiver from Arizona. I know a lot of people would say Hopkins, but Hopkins been really getting locked down to 10 points. But Kyle Murray's been relying on Christian Kirk, especially when Hopkins gets locked out and Kirk is like wide open, as you saw last game against Miami. Against the Bills, I would trust in Kirk right there. No doubt about it.
Yeah, so you're saying they're going to probably go to their second receiver against, Tre'Davious White in a tough defense. I like the Kirk pick. Here, let me think. I'm going to think of somebody good. Tyler Lockett. Throw Tyler Lockett in the flex. DK Metcalf is going off. He's attracting all the attention. And Tyler Lockett is still just silently going off from that. I think he's a wide receiver 2 now in that team. But it's like wide receiver 1A and wide receiver 1B. They're both absolute ballers, and they take turns going off. So if you have Tyler Lockett and you have a chance to put him in your flex, I don't think it would be a bad move.
Not a bad move at offense. I got Saints defense. They're playing against the 49ers, which are beat up. Their offense is beat up. They don't have their starting quarterback, tight end, running back, O-line. Everybody is injured. So Saints going to have a nice ball, especially since they just played against the Bucs. They were a tough team, and they're going to go right back at it. Get a nice, good points for you guys.
For defense, go ahead and give me the Titans tonight versus the Colts. The Colts offense could not do anything against the Ravens last week, and it honestly just looked awful. They turned the ball over 3 or 4 times, got sacked a couple times, just all around. If you have the Ravens defense last week, you got a little bit of everything in that game against the Colts offense. And I'm not saying that it's because of Phillip Rivers, but Phillip Rivers is very inconsistent, and it depends on which Phillip Rivers is showing up. And if you see a bad Phillip Rivers, you're going to see 2 interceptions, you're going to see a fumble, and you're going to see a couple sacks, and you're going to see a big loss for the Colts. And I got Titans winning tonight too. So I'm going to take the Titans defense, especially with Desmond King on it now. Yeah, rooting for him from afar. He got a scoop and score last week, so I'm going to take Titans defense.
My kicker, Daniel Carson. Daniel Carson, Oakland Raiders. Joe Morley's Raiders, as I keep mentioning. Carson, if you have Younghoe Koo, who's in the bye week, I'll plug him in right there. Carson will get you a nice few points right there. He's more reliable, so I would trust in Carson right there.
Yeah, my go-to kicker this season has been Matt Prater, the Detroit Lions. Dude is just getting so many opportunities to kick. He isn't making all of them, but the opportunities that he's getting, I mean, the Lions are having a problem getting into the end zone once they get down there. I just think they're missing out on that feature running back that can get into the end zone. DeAndre Swift is promising, but he's had his moments where are great. He has moments where he's bad. And I just noticed that the Lions are getting a lot of field goal attempts just based off the fact they don't got anyone to punch it in once they get down there by the goal line.
Yeah, that's true. So many Swift owners are always crying all the time.
Yeah. And I have Koo in I think 3 of my 4 leagues, and he's just been great all year. I picked him up after the first week, I believe. And just in situations like this where I don't have him, I've been going to Matt Prater, especially in other teams that I don't have him on. I've been going to Matt Prater if I need a kicker at the last second.
Yeah, I agree with that. With Koo, especially when people give up on Koo, I was like, give me that. That's easy points right there.
Yeah.
It was especially with the Falcons.
Yeah, that offense is always threatening to score.
But I really appreciate you, Shawn, coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it. I always love your work, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I really appreciate you coming on, though.
Hey, man, I try my best. Gets a little hectic sometimes. It's been real hectic like the last month just because all of a sudden everything just started growing at once. And I'm happy for it. I'm not complaining. I just wasn't ready. So still adjusting. We can hook up more in the future.
Yeah, man. It's always hopefully I get it on your show in the future, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the key there too. I want to be on your show. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm working on a plan for having a side show off of Mike on the Mic where I just talk with guests on the show. So once I get that going, I'm going to have a lineup, and of course I'll bring you on.
For certain, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it for sure.
But thank you guys for listening to E on the Mic, episode 5. Till next time, till episode 6. Stay tuned and always stay true to yourself. See you then.